That was Chris Yu, today's featured guest. And wow, what a sensational victory for our Golden Bears over the 14th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels on Saturday at Haas Pavilion. It's the biggest win for Cal men's basketball in nearly a decade. And the Cal varsity rugby team beat UCLA 45-0. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World. It's Monday, January 19th, 2026. Tosh Lupoi and the new coaching staff continues to bring exciting football players into the Cal football program with a lot of upside. And it's another great day to be a Bear. I'm your host, Reza Serafinejad. We appreciate you tuning in. We're the podcast that celebrates all things Cal. We produce on-camera interviews with the prominent people who are passionate about our university and our sports teams. And we share stories about the rich history and traditions of the University of California, known to many as the center of the universe. We hope to put a smile on your face and help you come away feeling good about your connection to the greatest university on the planet. We would love it if you would like and subscribe. And please tell all your friends about us. You can go to tellthewholedamnworld.com to watch any of our previous episodes, buy our exclusive Tell the Whole Damn World merchandise, and sign up for our emails. In today's episode, we're going to get to know a young man who just recently graduated from Cal who absolutely bleeds blue and gold. In a very short span of time, Christopher Yu has burst onto the scene doing videos talking all about the state of the Cal football program on his YouTube channel, Chris Talks Cal. And he's very quickly gained quite a following. He's a former Cal Mike man and lifelong Golden Bear fan who you're going to love to get to know a little better today. But before we get to that, I want to mention a couple of quick items. First off, I want to thank everyone who came to Alumni House to watch our pregame live stream episodes with Jerome Randall and Ben Braun prior to the Duke and North Carolina men's basketball games. It was a packed house both times, and we really appreciate everyone who came to the events and watched on YouTube. And this upcoming Saturday, January 24th, Ahmad and I will be the featured guests at the Cal ice hockey game versus USC at the Oakland Ice Center. Head coach Devin Cox is leading the Golden Bears to another great season on the ice, and we want to encourage all of you out there to show up to support the team. We've been invited to drop the puck, and we would love to see you there. And finally, for everyone connected with the Cal baseball program, the annual For the Love of the Game Gala will be held on January 31st at the University Club at Memorial Stadium. In addition to a cocktail reception and dinner, an auction, and a panel of guest speakers, the Golden Bears will pay homage to legendary Cal head coach Bob Milano, who passed away in September 2025. We're going to release our very special tribute episode to Coach Milano, who was better known simply as Seven, on Monday, January 26th. I'm now going to bring in my co-host, Ahmad Anderson, the man who created Bear territory as a defensive back on the 1982 Cal football team, and we couldn't be more happy to introduce you to Christopher Yu. Welcome to the show, Chris. We appreciate you making the time.
Thank you for having me on, guys. What an honor.
But hey, we're super pleased to have you here because, it's so funny that, I think with all the success that Cal football is expected to have now, anticipation is just running sky high. And you can speak to this because you were a Mike man. I think all 4 years that you were at Cal, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Expectation is a dangerous, dangerous thing, and excitement is something. Was my whole job is excitement. I've been living and dying by Cal football my whole conscious life, I'd say. And unfortunately, if you're living and dying by Cal football, you've been dying more than you've been living, I'd say. But I think at this time, with all these things in place, I had too much to say not to say it, if that makes sense. And it's just been amazing, the sort of support. And now I can't believe I'm on a show with Ahmad Anderson and Reza, and I'm telling the whole damn world.
But Chris, yeah, you, like you say, you basically were in the business of generating excitement for the Cal teams all 4 years that you were Mike man. And it's just something where your journey now taking you on to YouTube reminds me a lot, at least of my own journey, where, I've always just been bursting, like wanting to tell the whole damn world about Cal, and at every opportunity, every time somebody talks to me, it's like the first thing that just comes to the top of my mind. And, when I mentioned the idea of even starting this podcast, my wife just said, you got to go for this, because she just knew. And I think she was probably a little tired of me like talking about Cal every waking moment with her, right? Because that's all I would do. And she's like, please find something else to do.
This Lions kid, you got to see him. Yeah, yeah. I
That's
know.
right. That's right.
I've been the same way. So yeah, I think being the mic man, people ask me, how are you so positive? How are you always spinning it? How do you always telling us Cal's going to do this, Cal's going to do that? Well, because that was my job. When it was 30-0 against USC, you stand there and you yell the chants and you yell whatever you can at them to get the crowd going, whether it's, University of Spoiled Children, or you figure it out and you keep it positive. And I think I really enjoyed that. I think my whole life as a Cal fan in my younger years, it was very much a fandom of sort of isolation. I lived in Virginia and we didn't have the Pac-12 network. And so it was either go to a bar, which I was like too young to go to, so I'd have to have my dad take me, or I was watching play-by-plays like in my bedroom, like just hoping that it was going to come up with like Jared Goff completed the pass for 20 yards. Like if that makes sense, I couldn't even watch the real game. And so then to go from that, then to college, where now I'm at the focal point, leading the cheers, that I thought were so cool as a kid, and getting to see all the happy faces, getting to be right at the center of that electricity. It definitely really supercharged my fandom to the point where when there was such a special season coming up, like the one that's about to happen, I felt like I had to be part of this groundswell of support in some way.
That's fantastic. Well, I love to hear that for sure. And I mean, it's also just interesting to think that, now that you ventured onto YouTube, I mean, you started up your channel just in November, right? It's just
Mhm.
not very long ago. And, flashback for us here with our podcast, not only I tell the story on the podcast in the previous episode, but not only had I never done a podcast or hosted a show before, but I never even listened to a podcast or watched anything
Yeah.
like podcast related. I mean, I was just so it's been a huge learning curve to kind of figure it all out. But, now flash forward 70 plus episodes later, we feel like we finally kind of have something. But the whole idea when I think about the vision for our podcast was always about creating a platform for the people who are passionate about our Golden Bears and our university. And man, you certainly fit the bill. You fit that to a T for sure.
Oh, what an honor. What an honor. Thank you. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's not just about what goes on the field. It's not just about what goes on during the game. Like even with the fans, it's about creating excitement. And there's so much to be excited about with our facility, with our program. And I think feel that it's up to us, and we have our duty with the platform that we've gone to uphold that to the highest level.
And so, where do you think your love for Cal comes from? I mean, you grew up on the East Coast, right, in Washington D.C. area, and so
Yeah.
where does it all come from?
So, yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a long-winded answer. So I came up on the kind of traditional Cal route where I'm third generation. Grandparents went to Cal, dad went to Cal, aunts, uncles, cousins. And then they sent me to those little kids camps. I don't know if
Huh.
anyone's familiar with like, they have the Cal basketball camps and the
Yeah.
flag football ones. I think there actually was just an article written on Right for California. I forget the author of it, but it was about Tosh Lupoi and his experience as a camp counselor at one of those. And I think that's a pretty good way to supercharge a kid into being a fan. And my dad was always telling me, my dad was at the 1982 play. And I remember I had all my other, yeah, it's paying homage to Ahmad. What a surreal moment there. And all my other friends in elementary school were starting to, sort of root for their teams, dads, and a lot of passionate fans just for my childhood. And so all my dad had to do was show me that as a little kid. And I was like, and you just hear Joe Stuck, the most amazing, heart wrenching, sensational. And so from that on, that was my team. And then I think to get even more into the weeds of it, when I was young, I had some health problems. I struggled with aplastic anemia, which is a kind of neighboring disease to leukemia. It's sort of bone marrow deficiency. And I was actually given a make a wish, and my dad ended up reaching out to Jeff Tedford at the time.
Wow.
And it wasn't actually through Make a Wish, that was through nothing, but my father just reached out to them, and uh they were nice enough to have me fly me out to the big game and be able to stay with the team. And I think that sort of experience, if it was supercharged before, having that moment of feeling
Yeah.
bad and sort of having that as something to look forward to, in the months leading up to it, and then how surreal it was to meet players like Keenan Allen who were so nice to me. After that, I think it was kind of sold that I was going to be a bit of a Cal homer.
Well, I'll say that's one hell of a Bear territory moment there, I'll say. My
Yeah,
goodness.
sorry to get heavy on you guys, but yeah.
I've known Christopher his entire time he's been at Cal. We served on the Cal Alumni Association board together. He provided great insight and leadership, and watching him develop from, if you will, a bear cub to the bear that he is today has been simply an honor, to say the least. To cap that off, meeting his mother and father was absolutely amazing. I wanted to talk about Christopher. His dad wanted to talk about me and Cal football. And I try to circle it back. And Christopher, he's watching at me because we've been in board meetings together. He knows how I am. He knows I keep it real. And he is laughing over there like the kid, like a 6-year-old. He's like sitting next to parents and looking at me, and he's reading my eyes, and he's just laughing like, "Good luck to you, ma. This is a board meeting you cannot get out of, and you're not going to win." But I think there's several great moments that I've watched and experienced Chris, from his academics, his leadership on campus, um, his being the yellow man, and me checking in with him. And I'll tell you, it's been at various spots. I was walking on campus several times, and Christopher knows I try to duck the crowd. I just try to get up in there and enjoy the game. And I lo and behold, I look around, and there's Chris and the yell team. They're all there, and I'm like, you're following me?
Come on, you're not ducking me if I see you.
Yeah, no. And from Berkeley Law to cutting through the glade to cutting up the back road for Hearst Hall music. And there he is. And yet, one of the greatest moments. I've been just doing tears all these last shows, but one of the greatest moments that he and I shared was when I was asked by the university to do the Bear territory at game day. And Chris and I, my fellow board member, my little brother, my mentee who's now the mentor, and I am up there, and we get up there and we circle up. And we just sort of huddled up together before we did it. And I'm 5'9.5", and everybody says maybe, but I am. And we get into it. And I think right before I started, I handed my inhaler off to my god sister. I said, I do not want to be so winded that I grab that inhaler in the middle of 90 million people and go, oh. And so I stepped away from it and gave it to him. And I said, let's go, Chris. Let's go. And I look over to the side while I'm doing the bear territory. You know it. And Chris is jumping up maybe 6 feet. He's getting deep knee bends up above my head. And then after we think we have killed it, they said, can you do it one more time? And I was like, I wanted to bend over so badly. And I reached over and I just held on to Chris's shoulder. And he looked at me like, are you okay? I said, I just need a minute. And we did it again. And everyone knows all over the world that since that period of time, that has been the greatest game day of all time. And I stand 10 toes down it will never, ever be another game day like that again unless they bring it back to
They
the
will.
ground, to bear territory, to the cave, baby. And if they bring us back, Chris, get on that flight, baby, and I'll see you in the square. We'll be doing it again. And everybody, this is what people don't know. That area that we were on was like standing on the cliff in Yosemite. It was like standing on the edge there. It was that, there's not a lot of room for error there.
Yeah.
None. And so just knowing that you're doing this now, I want to be, as they say, ecclesiastically clear that you are amazing. You are everything I thought you would be at this time. You are everything I know you will be in the future. Tell your mom and dad I send my love, and go Bears to the U family across the board.
Oh, thank you, Ahmad. So I got a lot of responses to that, but first I got to start with, yes, on campus I was a mic man. Yes, on campus I did a lot of things. I think probably the most special thing I did genuinely, and I think probably the thing that helped me in my life development the most, was I was lucky enough to try out to be the Cal Alumni Association student board member. If you're watching the show, I hope you're familiar with the Cal Alumni Association. They're the ones who give you those amazing events wherever your hometown is, who throw on stuff at the Alumni House, and who Ahmad is on the board of. And I was lucky enough to share meetings with 12 of the most accomplished and people that I really looked up to at the time in college. And each and every single one of them taught me a lot of different things. And Ahmad, being such a gregarious individual, really definitely did take me under his wing. And we got to share some amazing experiences. And I think that's definitely speaks to just like the power of this university. And, it's all about mentorship, and it's all about passing it down. And that's definitely part of the reason I'm so happy to have this channel, is to keep that going to the younger generation.
Well, we wanted to get you on here as soon as possible. This is talk about a dynamic duel that this is just the beginning of it. And your insight on, I'm talking about, you had the best seat in the house. And your insight on where we are and where we're going to go is amazing. And my co-host, Reza, the founder, the big daddy of all of this right here, the big bear, is really excited, man, to just have you in this space. And I try not to talk about the X and O's. I try to talk about being a player, but he pulls me in every time. He's like, he doesn't text me, but I read his eyes. He's like, football now. Talk about it. Say what it was for you. Say what and I'm like, yes, I follow my leader. So that's how I feel in this space. But it's a great day to be a Bear.
Well, and I got a couple things I just got to say is that, that day, or that, early morning, right, when college game day was there and the mods up there on the stage belting out Bear territory. I mean, there's just nothing like that. And I just remember it reverberating in my mind for weeks after it happened, because it was just such an incredible image, right? To have witnessed in person, to have seen that. And, Pat McAfee, it's on his mind, like for weeks on end afterwards, right? He's bringing it up again and again and again. And that's where it's like, wait a minute. Tell the Whole Damn World would make a great name for a podcast. Like, what? And it could be uniquely and all about Cal. Like, and that's when, the genesis for this all began, thanks to all of that morning. But man, I mean, Chris, I see and I can feel the enthusiasm that you exude for all things Cal. And it's just been awesome, like watching some of your stuff. You just bring so much excitement. That excitement that you brought as a mic man comes through really well on camera when you're doing this stuff. So, more power to you. We would love to like have you on the show again and again, kind of whenever the opportunity presents itself, because I mean, it does seem like you probably have like some hot takes to kind of relay on different issues and ideas. And we kind of set the stage. But you could certainly be one of those personalities who comes onto the show every so often and, share your thoughts on what's going on in the world of Cal sports. So we would love that.
there's nothing on this planet, honestly, and this is almost sad to say, that I love more than talking about Cal football, like, and Cal sports in general. I live and breathe this stuff. I can get granular. I can talk X's and O's. We can talk about weak side blitzes a mod, or I can talk about holistics and the general narratives about, you know, the state of the fan base. And I think that's why I love college football so much, is that it feels like you can make such a difference. Everyone watching this video is part of the
Absolutely.
team. You know,
Absolutely.
it's not. Yeah, it's us. And to go back to the game down, this is gonna be. But I think, you know, I was a mic man for 4 years, which means I saw some great times, 4-0 against Stanford. But I was the mic man when we had that 6 months of hell. I'm gonna be honest, when it was rough, and when we did not have
Blizzard.
a conference, and the backstabbing of LA occurred, and
Yeah.
I felt that was a tough time, honestly. I felt it was tough. It was a lot. I had a lot of people that I looked up to that were upset, and it felt like there was almost nothing we could all do at the time. And, you know, it kind of dragged on. And I think it definitely hit me hard, because it was like a lot of the reason was like, oh, well, it's not so much even what happened on the field. It's the fact that the students don't care, that the people don't care enough, you know. And that hit me, because it's like, I waited my whole life to be a mic man, and on my watch, like, this happens. Like, how can that be? So we're granted this lifeline, and we get the players, and, you know, I'm glazing Mendoza. I'm telling everyone he's going to be our savior, and we get this game day. And the minute that happened, I was like, I'm not letting this. I will not let this not be the greatest game day of all time. I won't. I'm calling fraternity pledges. I'm getting people in the front row. I'm making I'm having pledges make signs. I'm like having everything go to a plan. I'm planning with all these different people. And when Ahmad called me up on that stage, it was like 100 lightning bolts were going through my body. He was like, we cannot let this, like, this is our moment. Like, you don't think we can? Let me show you. Let me take you to bear territory. Like, let's show you what's up. And I think we put on a phenomenal showcase to the university, and of the university. And, you know, when I hear Ron Rivera, I think he said something about where he was like, I was thinking about coming back. And when I saw that game day, it was like, I knew. And that is something so special, you know, that we were able to do.
But I just got to say that, you know, you talk about how the Pac-12 unraveled and backstabbing of LA and all of that. And yeah, those were some dark times. I mean, literally every day I was having nightmares, you know, like waking up in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, like what's going to become of Cal sports? Right.
Because it's
and he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. This guy is up all night anyway. I woke up at 5 this morning. There was an email. Hey, brother. What the hell? What?
Never sleep.
I just put the phone down. I was just like, I got to go back to bed. But he look, this guy, the two of you live and breathe this. I mean, I do. But the two of you are my bookends. The younger brother, the middle brother, and the old man me. But this is real. I couldn't have there is no better host for shows like this ever. I, like Reza, wasn't listening to anybody's podcast. I love my teams, blue and gold. I will go down with the blue and gold ship all day. But look, if I felt like 1, 2, I'm dead, I'm gonna be pulled up by Chris and Reza. I don't want to. No.
It's game time, Mom. Let's go.
They'd be like,
really wanted to say and point out that even though those were some dark times that we went through, when you take a look at the state of the program now, right, and all the anticipation and excitement that's building for 2026, I mean, I got to say, I can't hardly contain myself, because it is just, I think, going to be fantastic. It's the dawning of a new golden era for our Golden Bears, right? When you take a look at everything that's going on now and the alignment between Chancellor Rich Lyons and Ron Rivera and Tosh Lupoi and even the coaching staff. And hey, got to give a shout out to my man Jeff MacArthur, who's coming back as assistant wide receiver coach. I mean, man, maybe no other player played that position better than Jeff. and just so glad to see that he's coming back home to be back with his alma mater. I mean, that's just
Baby,
sensational news.
amazing.
And I mean, this is just it, that there is so much excitement building. And I just feel like I cannot wait to see it. And quite honestly, the conference realignment talk and the existential threat that we are facing literally will be the best thing to ever happen to Cal football. It's right there,
yeah.
because now it's like, it's not a given that we're going to have this anymore. We have to fight for it. We have to actually put the resources into it that it deserves to make it a winning program. And it's like, people have been saying it for decades since I first got onto campus. I remember saying, well, Cal's a sleeping giant. Well,
Don't wake it.
that sleeping giant's been awoken, right? You take a look at the flagship university in the greatest state in the union. If we decide to be good at football, you guys better watch out, rest of the nation, because that's exactly what we're deciding to do now.
I think Scott Fujita said it best. It's like, this is it. Cal football, it's like an anime or like a movie. Like, I don't think you could, like, I've never heard of like a program that's like so beset by so many different things when it comes to like your rivals betray you and leave, and now you're given a lifeline, right? And then you're backstabbed again by your quarterback who you love. And it's like, just when you feel like it's over, this kid from Eva Beach, who's just, I mean, you say once in a lifetime, and then you think, well, no, we had Jared Goff when we had two number one picks, like, but I have a poster of Jared Goff above my bed at home. There's something different with this kid, man. There's something genuinely like freakish about him. And we got 2 years, and it lines up perfectly with exactly the 2 years that we have to audition to tell the ACC that, no, we're worth flying across the country for. We're worth this, and we're going to keep being here, and we're going to be a force to play with. And then, you combine that with everything else that's happened, and it's just going to be, it's going to be special.
Well, anybody who comes to play us, if they didn't do it before, and just be clear, right? We kind of staggered through last year, but it was a better year than most people had.
Yep.
And I'll say this all the time. Wilcox said, and I said it as well, but he didn't say it in this way. You got to write a check. You want to pay to play? Pay to play. And that's the real deal. Bring your ATM card, get the Amex out, break your piggy bank.
It's not Puff the Magic Dragon. I love that clip.
No, yeah, it's not Puff the Magic Dragon. Poof. Oh, we're here. No, Bear fans, you got to be the captain of your ship and the master of your fate. And I think we have put our money where our mouth is, and we are rocking, baby. And this is the time. This is the time. There's no better time in life that I know of. 65 years of age. I've been a Bear fan most of my life. And now, I'm not, look here, I'll see you at the ticket box, because there's not a lot of room on the train going to Bear territory. If you don't get on now, you'll be walking, but for sure, show up.
That's right. Well, I can't wait to see Memorial Stadium packed. And I can only imagine when UCLA comes to town to start off the 2026 season. Man.
Baby.
No more mispriced at UCLA.
Listen, and it's going to be crazy, because I don't know if you all know, you folks know, but the Bear fans in the world, one of the greatest strong safeties of our time, Richard Rodgers, who touched the ball twice in the play. He is now a coach at UCLA. He was part of that JMU team, and I just spoke to him the other day. He was showing me a picture of the practice field, and their running back number 3, I forget his name. He just told me his name. I said, oh God, yes. And he says, hey. I said, oh man. I said, how many guys did you bring with you? He said, we brought a lot of luggage. I was like, uh-oh. So I look forward to the game. It's going to be a little different. I told him when I jumped on the call, I said, hey, I'm just going to say this one time. I was like, I love you, but I will not be wearing that powder blue. So forget about it. But I look forward to having him come back home. That's going to be a great reunion. It's going to be one of the greatest games of all time, of UCLA versus Cal, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, man. It's going to be a long 9-month wait, or 8-month wait now already. But I think what really comes to the excitement and why I was so nervous going into this year is you look at our roster Man, Tron Grizel, what an amazing human being. What an amazing player. But I shake his hand, and he's built like I am. Like, he was a former walk-on. Phenomenal player, and he did amazing things. And Jacob DeJesus, completely, like, should be an NFL fourth-round pick. But you just look at the level of, like, prospect, and he was a slot receiver from UNLV. Jordan King was another former walk-on. You know, that was our third receiver. Mason Minnie was a backup on Idaho. These are great. These are players who we coached up phenomenally and who put in so much work and got us to that 7-5. And now you bring in, you keep them. Other than Tron and DeJesus have graduated, you keep them and you bring in this level of blue chip talent. It was walk-ons versus guys. When we played Louisville, like, the guys on Louisville that are defending them are getting paid like millions of dollars. You know, they got personal trainers, masseuses, and you got Tron Grizel, who's coming from chemistry class, like, and just balling them up. That's how it was. And so when you combine that now with the level of resource and recruiting chops that Tosh has, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be what we've been waiting for literally, like,
there's something about those walk-ons.
I know.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was mic'd up. I had a moment.
There is something about them.
But I mean, here's the thing. When I take a look at the talent that we had on last year's roster, not to take anything away from them, but, you know, we had a true freshman quarterback who, of course, is just generational talent. I think we can all just agree that, you know, I was lucky enough to see Aaron Rodgers play. This guy might be better. I mean, he's just unbelievably fantastic, right? So at this stage in his career, I think that's almost a given for sure to say that. But our run game ranked 135th in the nation. Like, I didn't even know there were that many teams playing college football, right? So 135th in the nation in our ground game last season, and yet we got to 7 wins. So, I mean, you think about now the talent upgrade at virtually every position in terms of just the upside and the potential that's there, and a coaching staff that is eager to make their mark. And I guess I've said this before, that when you take a look at Tosh and you meet Tosh, you shake his hand, there is an intensity about this man. And they say that teams reflect the coach. Oh, man, because this guy, he works hard. He puts in the work. Everybody sees that. So you get talent that works hard, you better watch out. Going to be dangerous, just like Tosh said. So I cannot wait.
And I've never felt better about the state that we're in, not just because of, you know, JKS, like I mentioned earlier, but it's the people in charge. I've never felt like they've got it the way that they do now. Like,
Right.
Ron gets it. I mean, if he wasn't a football player, if you took his talent, like his football field talent away, he'd be running a show like this, like we are. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play football, but he'd be like me. He loves Cal. And so does Tosh. You know, Tosh, another lifetime guy, and Rich Lyons. If you've never had more patriotism or school pride in the positions that matter, and that have just really been able to overhaul and give this, you're just seeing this explosion. You know, like that. The Duke game was sold out. Steph Curry went to the Duke game. He could have been doing anything on a Wednesday night, and he went to go see some premier ACC hoops, and he was greeted by a sold out crowd that was excited about where this university's going. And, you know, the train's just getting started.
Train is just getting started. Well, hey, you know, I think probably should wrap it up here. But, you know, as I always like to say, this podcast was really all about, if you're unabashedly and unapologetically all about Cal, you found the right place. And brother, I got to tell you, you are always welcome here, Chris, because you've got it for sure.
I'm glad to share this space with you guys. It's a pleasure.
So we really appreciate you making the time to be here on the show with us today. You're just an awesome guy. We look forward to seeing you again on the show when there's more big news to talk about. And hey, everybody out there, you got to check out Chris's YouTube channel, Chris Talks Cal, because he does a lot of fun stuff on there. So you definitely want to check that out.
Love you, little brother.
Love you, Mod. You're the man.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you out there listening and watching. And hey, as I'm sure you've already heard by now, my co-host Ahmad Anderson is running for mayor of Richmond. If you live in Richmond, he would certainly appreciate your vote. There is no question he will do tremendous things for the city of pride and purpose. This podcast is entirely a labor of love and a reflection of how much we love our university. Please help grow this podcast by telling the whole damn world about us. Just tell all your friends to go to tellthewholedamnworld.com to watch any of our previous episodes, buy our exclusive merchandise, and sign up for our emails. We celebrate all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about the University of California. Do you feel Cal is the center of the universe? Do you bleed blue and gold? We want you to tell the whole damn world about it. Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Go Bears.